All right then, and we're on. Hello there, followers of darkness, Saiyans, androids, monsters, demons everywhere. Welcome to another longly awaited The Shadow Council episode number 14. And this time, since you've seen this guy over here, joining me, I believe you kind of get the idea of what we're going to talk about. Yeah, it's going to be another Kamehameha Dragon. Why did I do that? Okay. It's gonna be another Dragon Ball discussion, but this time it's gonna be like, how can I put this, on my turf, and that's gonna be Dragon Ball Villainy. I'm your host, Lord of Shadows, like always, and this time I'm here with one of my all-time favorite Shadow Council members.
TK, how you doing?
Well, for me, I'm doing just fine. How about you?
Good.
Okay. And I believe the viewers, I'm sure all of you are doing just fine as well. Okay, so basically, just to kind of like set the rules here, there's no topic. We're just going to be discussing all over the place. We're going to go through Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT, Dragon Ball Super, maybe mentioning a little bit of Dragon Ball Daima, or and all other movies, video games. Like, we're going to go all over the place. So anyone who's watching this, just be prepared. Okay? All right. With everything said, let us begin. Let's go deep into the abyss of Dragon Ball Villainy. Now, my good old friend TK, I know that you asked me on Messenger a particular question, so if you still remember it, you can ask me now.
So, between all the Dragon Ball, I'm trying to think what media, which series had the best villains, do you think? GT, Super, the original Dragon Ball, or Z?
Oh, yeah. I mean, just like the time you asked me before, like even now, like that's a that's a very tough question, because each and every well, let's just say anime, each and every one of them have very unique villains. Some of them good, some of them not so good. Some of them actually like really awesome. But if I have to choose like between all of them, I think I'm gonna stick with like Dragon Ball Z. I think like of all the villains, from like the original one to to Z, GT, and Super, I'm sticking with Dragon Ball Z, because there are all sorts of big number of villains there that I really personally I really like. I mean, one of them, I mean, who cannot ignore, for example, the kinds of Majin Buu, or Dr. Gero and his androids, or Frieza. I'm gonna go as far as say even Cell. I mean, of course, like two of the most iconic Dragon Ball villains ever, or I would say fictional villains ever. You know, or even go as far as say villains well, actually, yeah. I mean, we let's not forget. Well, you know what? I it's a big question mark, but like, what, I'm gonna still say it at the very beginning, Vegeta as well. I'm gonna add him, for that specific beginning of when he came as a villain. So I'm gonna add him as well, even though later on we all know the drill. You know, from a villain, he became basically, can we say, anti-hero in a way?
Yeah, I'd say anti-hero.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like I said, those are a few that I mentioned. So yeah. I mean, I'm still definitely going with Dragon Ball Z. How about you?
Um, I'm trying to think. I'd probably agree with you. I'd probably say Z. Although, I'm trying to think. Yeah, I'd probably say I'd probably go with Z2. Just because they have the most, I think, memorable villains. Um, Although in GT I did like Omega Shenron.
Mm.
I thought he was a good villain. Um, no,
One of the most underrated ones, I would say.
but I think I'd stick with Z though.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna ask any single Dragon Ball fan, I think every single one of them, I think they will stick with Z, because I mean, with no disrespect to Dragon Ball, or if we're going like in in the direction of canon, let's put it that way. Like even if in Dragon Ball Super, like they had a number of them. Like there are good ones. Like for example, like for me, I'm going with Goku Black.
Hmm.
I mean, I really like the idea of like an evil Goku. I mean, we had also, well, he's not actually canon. He's from a movie, but like the Tree of Might, Tarles.
Hmm.
They're kind of like Goku looking like villain. But yeah, I mean, definitely standing with. I'm sticking with like Dragon Ball Z, like I said before, because I think like of all the villains they had from the very beginning all the way until like wait, remind me of one thing. I mean, we discussed that a long time ago. That was that like a movie or an episode where the main character was like this descendant of Goku all the way at the end. Was that like a movie or a special episode or
Um,
something?
I'm trying to think what that was.
Um, there was a scene where basically, which is my only favorite part of that, is where him talks to Goku, basically at one point. Well, his ghost, basically.
Oh yeah. I think that was. Hmm.
Was it a movie?
I'm trying to think if that was. Let me. I'm not sure what that was classified as. I'm gonna look and see.
Mm.
I
Yeah, I mean,
feel,
yeah,
I feel like it was a movie. Um.
because I don't think it was that long. I think it was uh, like 40, 50 minutes long. I don't think it was like over an hour.
Let me look and see here. Da da da. Yeah, I think it's a. I think it was a movie. Um.
Let me check it. Let me check it myself. Let me see. What was the? Oh my god! What was the name?
I'm kind of curious about this.
What was the name of that? No, it wasn't. What was the name? Wait, was it like Goku Junior or something?
Yeah, I think. You're right on the time. You're right on the time of it. Uh. I'm gonna go up again and look and see. Um.
It was. I'm gonna say right now, it was. Uh, it was a TV special.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah, it was a TV special called Dragon Ball GT: A Hero's Legacy.
Yeah.
Yes, 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 yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know, I know. I remember there was like a purple wild boar type of like villain in that. He was
Yes.
he was fine. There was also like a female vampire, I think, character as well. Yeah, I mean like that. Basically, yeah, I was basically kind of on the right direction. It was like a TV special, but even like in that movie, like the villains were okay. They were not that much special. But going back to like what you said, GT. Alongside Shenron, I mean, like GT also had some like pretty good ones as well. Like, I mean, the first one I will mention is definitely Baby. I
Yeah.
like
Baby, I
Baby.
liked.
Yeah, I mean, like he's also one of those like really underrated Dragon Ball villains because like his saga. I'm always kind of mixing up like arc and saga because like other animes they will say arc and Dragon Ball says sagas, so it's kind of like complicated sometimes. But anyway, the reason why I love Baby is because he did something that I mentioned that like a few times when I'm talking about villains. He did something that only very few villains, I would say, almost succeeded, and that was world domination. Like
Yes.
he literally had, I think, like the entire world under his control, or maybe just the city.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
and
He had. I'm trying to remember the specifics of it. He made a planet. I think. I forget how he or maybe it was Earth, but I'm trying to remember what because I thought he had another planet that was he was able to control everybody on Earth, but I thought then
yep.
he made another planet though.
I mean, I haven't watched Dragon Ball GT in a long time, but I do remember that he had the entire Earth under his control, and and again, Goku and the crew, like they had a really rough time defeating him. Like especially like basically brainwashing all of them. Kind of like being his servants and everything. And that was like one of the rarest times that I was pissed off at Bulma.
Yes.
Because like because not because she was evil, well, brainwashed to be evil, but but because like she was so annoying as a villain.
Yes.
Especially like when Baby will transform into the big Saiyan ape, basically, and like and you basically see her like from the balcony, Bulma going like, "Yeah, baby, yeah, yeah, kick their ass," like, "Yeah." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Shut up!" Oh my god. Oh my
Yes.
god.
Um.
Yeah.
I had a thought about Baby. Oh, the only thing I thought was a little cliche about Baby. I mean, it wasn't. Well, not cliche, but I'm trying to think of the word I'm looking for. Wasn't cliche, but it was maybe it was cliche. I don't know. Is how they made him the main host for him be Vegeta. Um,
Yeah.
I kind of thought they overdid the whole make Vegeta evil again thing to some degree. I mean, he didn't really make Vegeta evil, but he controlled him to some degree. Um,
I mean, Baby basically, I think like Dr. Mew created him as some kind of like parasite, like going
yeah,
into people's bodies and kind of like controlling them and things like that. So so basically that's what he did to Vegeta. So in a way, you can't actually blame him because he was controlled by Baby in
yes,
a way. Until he got at the end like a proper body. Before he was like catapulted all the way to the sun.
yes,
Yeah. Actually, who I also want to mention from GT. Speaking of that, I think like he was a fascinating villain, and I think like it was a nice twist. It was a nice twist the way how they made him. But Super Android 17.
yes,
I thought I really liked the idea at first. Like when I watched the first time that particular saga where Doctor Mew and Doctor Giro joined forces, which which I would say was like one of my greatest wishes to see those two together. Like even though a lot of people have theorized that Doctor Mew might be like a future version of Giro, even though he came from a different planet.
yeah. I like those two together. Those two were they were an interesting combo. I thought they were um, what's the word? I thought
What?
they complemented each other well.
Yeah,
Um,
until yeah, but they both had one fatal flaw, and that is basically when the right time comes, betraying one another.
yes,
Even though Doctor Mew was the first one.
yes,
Yeah, but at least but the one thing I will say, even though a lot of people will agree that Super Android 17 was kind of like the main villain of that saga, but if you kind of look at closely, Doctor Mew and Doctor Giro are the main villains, not him, because they're the ones who orchestrated everything.
yes.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
also like to that saga. Wasn't that saga where they opened up hell and like all the villains came out?
Oh yeah, yeah. From hell, yeah, where all the villains came out. Yeah. I know what you mean. What was it?
I'm trying to remember why hell got. I know Goku got trapped in hell, and
No, that was the Super Android 17,
but
where he was fighting Cell and Frieza.
how did why did hell get open though? Oh,
Because
because that's no wait. Then why
because
did
the because Doctor Mew and Doctor Giro, I think they planned something, but I don't exactly remember what.
I'm trying to remember because I thought there was some. I don't know why I can't remember. Huh?
Look, I haven't watched Dragon Ball GT in a long time, so even I don't remember a lot of stuff. Believe me.
I mean
Yeah,
that was that was a good saw. I mean
but
that was an interesting saga. I'm trying to remember. I
honestly,
am glad that they later in Super with 17. I'm kind of glad that they brought 17 back and kind of redeemed him.
Yeah.
Um, because um, I think I like that saga in GT, but I kind of think he got the shaft a little bit with it.
One, in a way, yes, yeah. Although I will say this, that I was I remember like I always getting kind of emotional when he killed Krillin,
Yes.
even though he came back in the end. Like they always do. Like every time when a villain destroys half the planet or entire planet, they use the Dragon Balls to bring everyone back. So you could kind of say that no one actually dies in Dragon Ball
Yes.
if you kind of look at it. Like no one actually dies. But the one thing, I will say this, and I'm kind of like talking right now in general, uh like Akira Toriyama, again, go rest his soul. Akira Toriyama, like his villains, and not just I'm not talking just simply Dragon Ball. I'm talking like like even like Doctor Slump or like Sandland. Like his villains are very unique. And I
Yeah.
mean, we all know that when it comes to manga and anime, those kind of villains are usually much more unique than, for example, like villains from DC or Marvel or anything like that. But
Mhm.
just like Eiichiro Oda with One Piece, like Akira Toriyama, like his villains like are always not just unique, but like in a way special, that even the ones that he created, they're like absolutely like pure evil, one dimensional, two dimensional, they still work as villains,
Yes.
because Akira Toriyama adds something to them that makes you kind of like him as villains,
It almost
basically.
makes you root for some of them too, to some degree.
Yeah, I mean, like how many? I mean, like how many times? Like I cannot remember how many times I even root for fucking Frieza.
Yes.
I mean, I know that he did the whole horrible things to the Namekians and Krillin. I mean, oh my god, when he stabbed him with the horn, oh my god, like jumping him up and down. Oh, like I was like, oh man, that's low. That's so low. Like what he was doing to him. But there are some moments, especially like especially when he became, especially when he went to the ultimate form. The purple white form. Like the ones that he became more iconic. Like I really like like you said, there was a lot of moments where I was rooting for him in a way. Even when I want there was a few times I was rooting for Majin Buu or even Cell, because they're so cool as villains. Because when you look at them, seriously, there are a few exceptions, but when you look at all the Dragon Ball villains, none of them have like a very hardcore, like heartbreaking origin. Like, oh, they became evil because of that or this. Basically, every single one of them, as far as I remember, every single one of them, even when you have their backstories, they're all from the beginning pure evil.
Yes.
Yeah, and they still, and like I'm serious. If this was something done like in the West, like in America or Europe, if one of them like tried to do a series with those kind of villains, I can tell you, a lot of people will tell all these villains are lame because that they have no elements that kind of like you can kind of connect with them or anything. But
Yeah.
but if it's done in anime, then or manga, it's a different story. You know, because
Oh.
I mean,
Oh no! I
I mean,
I lost my thought.
now I mean, I was trying to say, correct me if I'm wrong. Like there in Dragon Ball, all over. I mean, all together, there are like very very few villains who have like a tragic story that made them become evil. Like very very few. Because I mean, am I correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Like a very small number, because every single one of them was like evil from the beginning.
I'm trying to think. I mean, the androids, I guess you could say, had a tragic story.
Well, Android 16 to be precise.
Um, I'm trying to think though. But aside from them, I don't think there are any. I mean, I guess you could look at Vegeta as a tragic story because he was kind of forced to serve Frieza.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, that's
so I
true.
guess you could look at Vegeta. But I think other than that, I think you're right. I think they a lot of them do not have the tragic backstory.
Yeah, I mean, like the newest one, that kind of has a backstory. You kind of understand why he's doing what he's doing. I would say is Granola.
Yes.
I mean, some people say he's not actually a villain, but if you look at the way how his saga, the way how they build him up and everything, he kind of is a villain, but not like an 100% villain per se. He's more like I would say he's more like an anti-villain or something as a character, But he is like the most recent one that they create some kind of a backstory to kind of like make him understand, to make people understand why he's doing what he's doing,
Yes.
without going into deeper spoilers.
Oh, let me look at something real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm trying to look and see. Oh, I'm just reminding myself. I'm just seeing the.
The what?
Okay. I'm just looking at the list here. Maybe
What?
they all have. I mean, I'm just looking at the list of I'm just looking at this isn't all the villains, but I'm just looking at a list of the villains.
Yeah, like you mean Dragon Ball villains like in general, or some
Yeah.
specific like media?
I'm just looking at the Dragon Ball villains in general.
I mean, you can look, but I think like like I said, there are only like very few, like a handful of them who have like a tragic story or reason why they're evil. Because almost I would say 95% of them are like evil from the beginning.
I think that I'm looking at them. The only other one I'd say Vegeta has a tragic backstory. I'd say Android 16. I
Granola.
would say maybe both versions of Broly had sort of a tragic backstory, although I'd say the second one sort of had more of a tragic backstory
Yeah,
than the first.
the second one works way better.
The first one was more just insane.
Yeah. I mean, who can blame him? Like Goku was crying all the time. Like who can blame him why he hated him so much? The man couldn't sleep.
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to. Ah, crud! Where did it go? I lost it. Oh, I want to write it down.
While you're searching, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I'd say aside from them, I mean, I think. I don't know, I'd say aside from them, I think you're right. I think a lot of them don't have a tragic backstory.
Told you. Like most of them, like 95% of them are evil from the beginning. Like even like I want to ask you something. Like how like did you ever like how much are you familiar with, like, for example, super Dragon Ball heroes?
Not I'm not too familiar with it. I'm not overly familiar with it.
I mean, I think like I already explained. I mean, I think I already explained it before, but like basically, it became like a very special game in Japan that kind of involves like those like big like arcade boxes and like cards that you have to collect, basically. Yeah. But then later on, it was spread like over like other platforms, from Wii and PlayStation, I think, as well, like and many others. But oh man, like there's a lot of storylines in Super Dragon Ball Heroes. So many great storylines that I would have loved to see them, like as an anime. Like, for example, have you watched the Super Dragon Ball Heroes shorts? They're like 7 minutes long.
I haven't. I need to, though.
They're pretty cool. I mean, the episodes, they go fast. Trust me. You will watch all the episodes in like maybe 2 hours. You will watch everything, because, or maybe like 3, because each and every one of them, like they're like 7 to 8 minutes long, literally. But they're basically like collections of like sort of like cutscenes where well, I would say they're more like how the games usually do, cinematic shorts, basically. And anyway, like there's so many great villains there, like from the demon Fu to like Hearts, Demigra, Mechikabra. Oh my god, like what was that demon lady's name? Towa, I think she was called, and many different others. Like especially one of my favorite storylines in Super Dragon Ball Heroes was the Demon Realm. Like, oh my god, like I would love to see that storyline like as an actual Dragon Ball anime. I mean, Mechi Kabura, basically he's kind of like the supreme leader of all demons, and he's literally the Dragon Ball version, and I'm not kidding, he's literally the Dragon Ball version of Darth Sidious from Star Wars. Like, no, I'm not kidding you. He's literally Star Wars Dragon Ball's version of Palpatine.
Huh.
In a way, like because the first time when you see him, he's like this old, creepy looking like demon guy.
What's
and then later on, what?
What's his name again?
Mechikabura. It's a little bit difficult to type it.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I mean, like he first started as like an old demon guy, but then later on he made himself younger. And and I will tell you, a fucking force to be reckoned with. When he became younger, oh my god.
I can see that. Huh.
Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, even like there's another villain called Cumber, I think, like called the Evil Saiyan. He's also a really interesting villain. I mean, they show him a little bit in the shorts, in the cinematic shorts as well, but he mostly appeared in the games. But he's basically if I had to describe him, he's basically the Bane of Dragon Ball. Like, this guy is like, when you look at him, I mean, he most of the time he has a mask, but like this guy, like he's like destruction incarnate, basically. Let's put it that way. Like, he is a living tank when it comes to like Saiyans, and even as a villain. He's kind of like, I would say this. I would go as far as say he's kind of like Broly, but a little bit more intelligent.
Ooh.
I mean, what I meant by that is that I'm talking about the Legendary Super Saiyan Broly movie. I'm talking about that Broly.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah. Maybe I wasn't that quite clear, but like basically he is like a more intelligent version of the Legendary Super Saiyan Broly version. I'm telling you, like Super Dragon Ball Heroes. I mean, I get the idea why it would be difficult to kind of like do those storylines as an anime, because it kind of goes also all around, and kind of like some of the elements also break canon a little bit as well. But you could, but I still think like you can take some elements of those games and you can like literally make a saga out of it. Like you don't have to copy it like piece by piece. You can change some things, but I'm telling you, like it'll be worth a shot, because I'm telling you, like there's all sorts of like really great storylines and villains that Super Dragon Ball Heroes has.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah. Also, I know that she was introduced in Dragon Ball Fighter Z. It's the Android 21.
Yes.
Yeah, that woman that was actually the wife of Dr. Gero, which was actually revealed in the Dragon Ball Superhero movie.
Yes.
Yeah, which is one thing. Like first and foremost, I felt like it was kind of cool that she's like an android, but also like a scientist. I mean, I know that later on she became like a female version of Majin Buu. Basically, if I remember correctly, the fighter's storyline, but I think like even she would make a really good addition to the anime as well, at least like from the Fighter Z games that I remember, And and speaking of speaking of that, that's one actually one thing I also wanted to ask you. Now we talk about like Dragon Ball media. Now I want to ask you, who is your favorite Dragon Ball movie villain?
Movie villain. Okay.
Now remember, we're going all the way from the beginning to superhero.
Hmm.
So you have a wide choice. If now you can pick one, or if you want, you can actually if it's kind of easier for you, you can choose three.
Okay. I'm trying to think. I definitely say I guess I'd probably say the two villains from Superhero I really liked. Commander Magenta, I think was that his name,
Yep,
and
magenta.
Salt Max I liked. Um, I'm trying to think.
Sorry, which was the second one?
Cell Max.
Ah, okay.
Cell Max. I'm trying to think. What's his name? Janiba. Janimba. Janimba.
Janamba.
Janemba. Yeah.
You seriously, you like him?
Yeah. I like
Okay.
him. Um, Let me think. Who else from them? I'm trying to think what other movies. Hmm. I'm trying to remember the movies.
Now go ahead. You have all the time in the world.
Um, I'd say maybe Broly, but I'd say, well, no, no, I'm not gonna say Broly. Hmm. You're probably not gonna like this one choice. Um,
Which is
I'm gonna say it anyway because while the movie itself wasn't good and nothing else was good in it, I think he played a good Piccolo. I would say Lord Piccolo from Evolution. I would say he was I would say he was decent. Um, uh,
I think I should have said anime movies, not live action.
um, I'm trying to think.
Because I didn't like that performance at all. I didn't
Was
like that at all.
was Pilaf a movie villain, or was he just
Emperor
animated?
Emperor Pilaf.
Yeah.
I think like he was a villain in the original Dragon Ball.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, Maybe Pilaf. Um, I'd say Garlic Jr.
I want to ask you: did Garlic Jr. first appear in Dragon Ball Z or in the movie?
I think the movie
Because I think wasn't the movie like a kind of like a prequel
because I think
to.
he was Dead. I think Dead Zone was his first appearance, and then he appeared in the anime, but like in filler episodes.
So those were filler episodes.
Yeah, so the Garlic Jr. saga, which came, I think, like right after the Frieza saga. Um,
Wasn't before.
so those were filler episodes, and then but
Okay.
Garlic Jr.'s first appearance was Dead Zone,
So
which was like
so
which I put between I kind of put that movie between Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. I mean, it's a Dragon Ball Z movie, but I think it like if it were going to be part of the if it were canon, which I'm not sure if it is, but if it were canon, I think it'd be between the ending of Z and the arrival of the Saiyans.
mm-hmm.
Um, Actually, I'm not sure which came first. I'm gonna look and see if I can see the list because I don't know if I think Dead Zone came before.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
Dead
search.
Zone. Yeah, Dead Zone came before Tree of Might.
Ah, okay. Okay. Now, did Dead Zone appear before the Garlic Junior saga or after?
Yeah, Dead Zone was the first Garlic Jr. movie. That was before the Garlic Jr. saga.
Okay. Okay. I mean, honestly, Garlic Junior for me, I couldn't take him seriously. I don't know. Like, I mean, I know he was a. I mean, he was basically a villain with a Napoleon complex.
Yeah,
That's for sure. But I don't know. Like, he was never that particularly interesting to me.
I'm trying to look
You
and see.
know.
Um, I'm looking at the films to remind myself. Oh, Cooler. I forgot about Cooler.
Okay. So okay, but I would say this: you picked more than three.
Yeah, I did.
I just say top three.
I forgot about those. Huh. Uh, what were your favorites?
Okay. Before I go to my, so let's recalculate. What are your top three in the end?
Okay. I'd say
Top three.
Commander Magenta, Cell Max, and Janim Janimba. I'm watching
Janamba.
the name. Janemba, yes.
Yeah, I'm pronouncing it Janamba because in the English dub he basically said, "Oh no, Janamba, Janamba."
I mean,
You
he
know,
was essentially the movie version of Majin Buu. I mean, that was essentially like that movie. I mean, that movie I'm positive was not canon. I'm positive it was like a separate universe, and like he kind of takes the place of Boo, but I still
yeah,
liked him. I still thought he was good.
yeah. I mean, check it. Wasn't Janamba like a wasn't Janamba actually in fact like the Hell Warden or something?
Yeah, he was like a teenager or something that fell into like a vat of like radioactive material or something.
Yeah, but I would say like in at least like I would say this for Janamba, like he was interesting to me more when he was a fat blub than
Yeah,
when he became like a creepy looking sword fighting demon
yeah,
because like I don't know, like I mean he was cool and everything, but it didn't work for me. So I might much prefer them in the fat version. But anyway, going back to me, like for Dragon Ball movies, uh, and I'm definitely spitting on the fire the live action movie. That's for sure. There's no way I'm gonna put that on my list. Um, even for me, it's a little bit difficult. But like, if I have to choose, I'm going with Dragon Ball Super Broly
hmm
because I think like that version of Broly was way better than the legendary Super Saiyan one. I'm going with him. I'm gonna go with maybe some people won't agree with me, but I'm gonna go with even Lord Slug.
Okay, yeah.
I find him very cool, especially when he became a giant. So I'm going with Lord Slug, and third I'll choose. Let's see, all the Dragon Ball movies that were out there. I think I'll choose. I'll go with. Hmm. You know what? I'm going with another villain, which I know a lot of people will disagree with me, but I'm going also my third choice will be Doctor Willow.
Dr. Wheelo. Huh.
I know. I mean, there's something about his arc, his overall story that I actually really liked. I mean, I know that the story, his goal was basically very simple: get his brain into like the strongest human being alive. I get it, but I'm gonna go with Doctor Willow, and also I think one of the reasons is because I'm a sucker for mad scientists.
Yes. Yeah, he was. I never thought. I wouldn't have thought of that one, but that's good.
Yeah. Also, I just want to mention, like, our dear old FRC basically said that the Shadow Council is back, and it's great to see. Yeah, you bet on it. Like, yeah, that we are finally back with the Shadow Council. That's for sure. Exactly. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, like, I know it's a villain that I know a lot of Dragon Ball fans would disagree, but if I have to choose, I'll go with Super Broly, uh, like Lord Slug and Doctor Willow. I know there's something about Doctor Willow that really was interesting to me as a villain. even though he was basically a brain in a machine.
He was in the world's strongest, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
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 That
I
movie,
know.
I always forget about that one.
Yeah. I mean,
I
like
like
that's. Excuse me.
I like the character though.
Yeah. Also, if I have to add a bonus, like a nominee, basically my fourth one. If I will go the nearest one that also goes to that list. I will also name Android 13th.
Huh. Well, look at that. I didn't realize who. I never knew who. Wait. Let me look
What?
and see what I'm looking to see.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. I mean, like again, one of my favorite villains is a type of villains for me was always were always the androids. Every single one of them. One of the things I loved about it is that Akira Toriyama. Well, okay, he didn't create Android 13. That he had nothing to do with that. But like every single android is unique in his or her way, basically. From like Android 8, the Android 8, the Frankenstein android, which I think like he appeared way back in the original Dragon Ball.
Wait, you said Android 13, right?
Not 30, 13.
13. So, huh? How many? Jeez, I
How
never
many what?
realized Android 13. Huh. I never realized Android 13 was the same voice as 17 and Kibito and
The English dub, right?
yeah, and Garlic Jr. too.
Yeah, for an English dub, honestly, I was surprised. He was the same guy.
That guy really has range.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I love about Android 13th, he literally voiced him like a casual American trucker, like a
You know,
trucker driver.
well, you know what's even funnier? I need to watch that movie again because Android 15, which I guess is the little Android 15 was the little blue guy, the little purple guy, right?
Exactly, yes.
In the English dub, that's also Majin Boo's voice, Fat Boo.
Oh my god. Wait, which one? Because I know there are two dubs. Like one is like, and the other one is like, hey, it's up. So which one you're talking exactly?
The second one.
So it talks like this.
No, the one after that.
Oh, why are you talking to Boo? That one.
Yep.
Okay. It kind of makes sense in the dub why this guy is voicing. No, wait. He's
actually he voiced Kid Boo too.
I mean, for Kid Boo, it's not very difficult. He just went to He only went like this all the time.
Him, that guy, Chuck Huber, and then also I would say, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think now because I don't want to be wrong when I say this. Well, maybe Josh. Yeah. So I would say Chuck Huber. This is just a side that I thought about.
Mm-hmm.
Chuck Huber. I'd say Chris Sabat, and let me think. Justin Cook, I think, voiced probably the most characters in the Dragon Ball franchise.
I'm only familiar with like very few people when it comes to English dub of Dragon Ball, because I'm mostly familiar with the like Japanese voice actors than English dub.
Justin Cook is Dende,
Raditz. Okay, that thing I know, yeah.
And then he's Super Boo.
Okay, yeah, okay. This guy, this person, I know. I'm familiar with his work. Also, I just want to ask you: Did you ever watch Dragon Ball Z Abridged?
No, I should though. I've heard it's funny.
When I said Android 13, there is one particular part where when he first time appears on the ice in the movie, and well, no, the first part when he was activated, basically, because the Android 13, 14, and 15 they were activated by the supercomputer of Giro, basically.
Yes.
And and basically like they made Android 13th, talking like that, like very traditional Southern accent,
Yeah.
basically, and gee, thank you kindly, Doc. Then you have like Dr. Giro's computer kind of like saying, "Oh, come on, we've been over this already." They go, "Darn, you can't fix what ain't broke." And then he's like, "What now? Where's my trucker hat?" Basically, throughout the entire like abridged version, when he's like, "Howdy there, I'm Android 13th. Look at my trucker hat." Or even there's another uh when he throw at Goku like a big red sphere. He basically said, "Look out for my TH sphere." And Goku's like, "TH stands for trucker hat." Oh my god, that! Oh my god, every time when I hear that, I laugh hysterically because they're making because I'm basically, and I think the reason behind it because everyone made fun of him because he literally looked like a truck driver.
Yes.
That's why a lot of people actually made fun of him in a way, But as an overall villain, I liked him, you know. Even though his goal was basically destroy Goku, but like all the other androids, but he was cool.
I'm trying to think. I'm looking to see. Hang on one sec. I'm trying to look and see what. Okay, so who are your favorite? Who are your three favorites?
Okay, so I said the super version Broly,
Okay.
Lord Slug, and the third one I'm going with I'm going again with Dr. Willow.
Okay, yeah, those are three solid choices.
Yeah, when it comes to don't get me wrong, Magenta from Dragon Ball superhero movie, he was cool as a villain, he was really cool and everything, and I like the idea, that he did all of that shit, just because he wanted to bring back the Red Ribbon Army, you
Mm-hmm.
know, like his father had before him, which was Commander Red. Even though I will say this, the resemblance was actually on the spot, was like spot on when it comes to their resemblance. Also, the guy who made those Gamma 1 and Gamma 2, Dr.
Yeah,
Hido, I think he was called, right?
yeah.
Wait, is he Dr. Giro's grandson or what?
I think grandson. Oh, I just like this is off topic, but I just noticed Diama has a Wikipedia page now.
You mean Dragon Ball Daima?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like we're like, I would say we're like maybe like 10 or something days away before Daima
Oh,
actually premieres. So
I get what.
no,
I figured out why they haven't. I know why they haven't announced the dub of it yet. They're waiting to see. I bet. I just figured out why they haven't why they haven't announced the dub. They're probably waiting to see how other medias are gonna treat it. Like if they're gonna treat them like as if they're gonna like make the voices like more child or keep like the adult voices.
no, actually, for Dragon Ball Daima, I've already seen some news that the actress who voiced Goku as a child will return for Daima in English
Ooh,
dub.
that would be cool.
I don't remember the name exactly, but I do remember that she voiced Kid Goku in other like different medias. I think it was like Dragon Ball GT and original Dragon Ball, but I'm not quite sure. I'm not
Ooh,
quite sure about. I'm not quite sure, but I do know that she was a voice actress who voiced previously Kid Goku, and she's
oh,
gonna return to voice
Stephanie
Goku again.
Stephanie Nod only Nod only. Yeah, we'll go with that. Stephanie
Yeah, Stephanie.
Nod only knee.
Close enough.
Oh, I hope that's true. I hope that's not just a rumor. I hope it's not Colleen Clinkerbeard because she voiced Gohan and like Kid Goku in Dragon Ball Z Kai in English, and nothing personal. She's a good. She also voiced Rachel Moore in English in Case Closed. Um, Nothing personal against her, but she was. I could not listen to a series of her as Kid Goku again. That would not work.
Yeah, but basically, yeah. So okay, Stephanie Nadolny or
Yes.
something. Yeah. So basically, like I said, I know this because I checked it on. I checked it on on Twitter. Sorry, X. I checked the news on X, and and it's actually true. Like Stephanie Nadolny, she's gonna be the English voice of young Goku and young Gohan.
Oh, that would be.
In the okay, sorry, it says this way. Stephanie Nadolny, the English voice of young Goku and young Gohan in the Dragon Ball franchise, is reportedly reprising her role as Goku in Dragon Ball Daima.
Oh, I hope that's true.
Well, so far, I mean, from different like forums and news I've seen, it looks like it's official that
I
she's
don't know
gonna
what
return.
I don't know what they do about Vegeta though, because I don't think anyone aside from Chris Sabat can play Vegeta.
But I will say this,
Well, actually, that's
like
not true. You know what I would do with Vegeta?
what?
I would Laura Bailey like knocked young Trunks out of the park. I'd make Laura Bailey Vegeta's voice.
Again, I'm not familiar with the dubbing thing, so
She
uh,
is she
that's a
is
blank for
really
me.
good.
But I will say this, actually, who I actually gave the most respect out of when it comes to like voice acting for Dragon Ball.
Hmm.
I mean, with all due respect to the English dub, but I give mad respect to the voice actress that voices Japanese Goku.
Oh yeah.
This lady, she voiced him as a child and she voiced him as an adult. And this lady, she's like in her 80s and she still knocks it out of the park. Like even when Goku's like screaming, especially in Japanese, when he's screaming, I'm like, oh my god, like this is coming from a 80 plus year old woman. I mean, like that's mad respect for me. Mad respect.
I
I
like
mean,
in the English dub Sean Schemmel. He he does good with Goku. Um Although I will say I don't know how it translated in the um in the other dubs, but I kind of don't like his pitch now that they made Goku more of like an asshole.
yeah, yeah, with the voice and everything. I mean, that's one of the reasons. Like, not just simply Dragon Ball, but other animes. That's why one of the reasons why I'm watching like in Japanese because I grew up watching in Japanese and the English dub. Like sometimes it worked, but the 95% for me it didn't work. Even like when it comes to One Piece, I don't watch dubbed One Piece.
Now here's a question for you.
Go ahead.
I saw on Reddit people were discussing this back and forth and
Go
really
ahead.
getting into it. So I'm curious. I'm curious. I could actually kind of understand the point they're making. So we were talking about villains.
Yes.
So you could almost argue, sort of, that with Goku's character change and with how much he like lets the villains recover and like brings all this stuff, but like mainly with his big character change, you could almost argue that he's like the main villain of the whole series.
If you're looking from that point of view, then yeah, I can kind of see it in a way,
Because he, because
in a
like,
crazy bonkers way. But yeah,
because like in the manga, I guess he fights for more selfish reasons, like to get stronger, and
yep.
like he purposely like lets some of the villains recover and he lets them come to Earth. I mean, he gave Cell a sensu bean. He gave Moro a set, or was it him who gave Moro a sensu bean?
Yep.
Yeah, he gave Moro a sensu bean. Uh
He gave fucking Frieza when he was cut in half a little bit of his energy.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. But I will say this. To see Frieza and Goku collaborate in Dragon Ball Super was one of the best moments of my life.
Yes. Oh yeah. Well, now here's the question: if they do continue Super, what do they do with Frieza? Do they make Frieza come? I mean, obviously, if they continue Super, they have to adapt the Black form. I mean,
Yeah.
there's no way around that. But so what do they do? Do they give Vegeta, Frieza, and Goku another face-off, or do they somehow like just make Frieza like slowly become less of a villain and more of just like he's out there. He and Goku and Vegeta are going to fight from time to time, but none of them are actually going to kill each other.
Well, hear me out on this one. Hear me out on this one. Now, through anime history, the mangaka and the anime people,
Mm-hmm.
like like I have seen. I mean, even you, I believe, like you and I, we have seen hundreds and hundreds of times when in anime you have a villain that at first, when the first time when the main hero first faced this villain, the villain was actually a villain, but
Mm-hmm.
then later on down the line, sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes, we see these villains, kind of like redeeming themselves,
Yeah,
basically, no, not like becoming absolutely good, but I would say like it became more like neutral in
yeah,
a way, like doing good or bad thing depends on like their personal agenda in a way, but like I mean, to kind of give it another example, like in One Piece, they're all like there's been like hundreds of times when you see villains who at first, like they were villains and you hated them, and
mm-hmm.
then later on they either teamed up with Luffy or something, and they had a change of heart, and then later on you start like loving them in a
Yeah,
way. So that's nothing new actually when it comes to like changing sides in anime. That's nothing new. Even like in other different animes that they have done that. Way before that, way before Dragon Ball. But anyway, to kind of go with Frieza, to get the like as you have asked me, like do I think he's gonna go full on good? I don't think so. I think like Frieza will remain neutral. I think like he will. Let me put it this way: he will be a neutral. He'll be a neutral guy, a neutral character, but with an attitude. Let's put it
yes.
that way: a neutral character with an attitude. Like actually, just like how Vegeta was, basically.
Yeah, okay, I can see that.
Yeah, so I don't see him fully like fully redeem himself like as an actual like good guy. I think like he will remain mischievous, diabolical, sneaky. Let's put it that way. But he will definitely be neutral. Like good or bad depends on like what kind of like personal thing he has for himself.
What I wonder is the I'm going to be curious to see the villains in Diama.
In Daima,
Diama.
yeah, I think it's pronounced Daima. Maybe it's Daima. I don't know. But I mean, I've seen some concept art of some of the villains of Dragon Ball Daima, but I don't know. Like I mean, to be fair, I'll be fair with something. I'll be fair with you on this one. Of all the concept arts I've seen of the villains, to be fair, none of them look interesting to me.
Yeah, I don't know about them. I'm intrigued by them. I think they look. I'm curious to see like what exactly they can do.
Mm,
Because you're right, a lot of them don't really look threatening. Or like overly like interesting necessarily. Um, but I don't know. I'm curious to see like what exactly their power is. Like how um like the one kind of looks like a Supreme Kai.
yeah, I noticed that as well. And one looks like and there's another one who looks kind of like a clownish demon.
Yeah. Which kind of leads me to think that somehow they're connected to Shin.
Really, you think that?
Yeah.
Hmm,
Because
that's interesting.
here's the question I have. The question I have is why would I get why all the Z fighters would be shrunk down to kids, but
Mm,
why would Shin and Kibito be shrunk down to kids too?
good point. That's a good
Unless
point.
the Wish had to somehow include them.
Yeah, I do agree. That's a good point. That is a good point. I don't know, but the one thing I'm hoping, and I think like that's actually gonna happen. I'm just hoping that Goku and the rest they will return back as adults.
Yeah, I'm hoping this series is. It sounds like it's a more limited run series.
I think so too.
So I'm kind of hoping that it is, and it's more self-contained. Because I don't know if we've ever had a. I mean, I guess we did with GT, but I don't know if we've really had a self-contained story that like was so many episodes and then wrapped up.
I
Uh,
mean, for Dragon Ball Daima, I think like how many episodes I said that they're gonna be? 20.
20, I think.
Yeah, I think that I also read somewhere it's gonna be 20. Again, I think I do agree with you. I think this is gonna be like a limited thing. I don't think we're gonna have multiple seasons. Let's put it that way for Dragon Ball Daima. I think it's gonna be like this 20 episodes and that's it. Because the timeline, the way how they described it, the timeline is gonna be between the Majin Buu saga and Super. Basically, it's gonna be that timeline. So I think like so, and and again, even if you look at it like Dragon Ball Super and the Majin Buu saga, the timeline is not that big between them, basically.
But yeah, that's the other thing. I mean, that timeline makes sense to me.
Mm,
Um, that timeline I think makes sense.
mm.
Um, the other thing though is I'm kind of glad they haven't released a lot of details about it.
Yeah, they've been very secretive for my surprise.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that they haven't like. I mean, I kind of like it because it kind of makes you more curious about it. Which I guess is the point of it.
Mm.
But I like that they haven't like really dropped too many details about like what exactly the story is and like where it takes place and everything. Although the other thing that I'm very curious about is none of the trailers show Gohan.
Yes,
So I'm curious if
I
that's
noticed that as well.
so
I
I'm
noticed that
curious
as
if that's
well.
because he's not part of the story, which I mean it's possible he doesn't have anything to do with the storyline. Um
I don't know. I
but
mean, so far I can say we can just have to wait and see.
although I did see a funny meme, and if Gohan is in this and he's not involved in the wish, I hope he does it, where Gohan's
Mm.
picking up Piccolo and throwing him at a
Oh my
mountain.
god.
Oh, I know there's no I don't think there's any way that's actually real gonna be part of it, but that would be so great if they did that.
Oh my god, yeah, yeah. That would be so hilarious. We
That'd
really
be
would.
that would be such a great scene.
Yeah.
Would
Also,
you-
I want to ask you. Here's a very tricky question for you. Uh, if you can pick one villain for every media, Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT, Dragon Ball Super. If you can pick one villain from each media, which ones would it be?
Okay,
Again, remember one from each
okay.
media.
Dragon Ball, um, General Blue, was that his name?
Yes.
Yeah, General Blue. Dragon Ball Z, Super Boo.
Super what?
Super Boo.
Super Boo. Okay.
Um, GT. Omega Shenron.
Okay.
Super Zamasu.
Okay.
One question
Uh,
about Super though. Super. I'm trying
go
to
ahead.
think. Super, I think, had more anti-hero. Like, I think Zamasu was one of the main. Was one of like the only like truly like villains. Because the rest of them I would put more as like anti-heroes or like um the rest of them I would put more as anti-heroes. I guess Frost. I guess Frost would be a villain. So Frost, but
Yeah, but here's the fuck up, and I'm sorry to say this. In the manga, in the actual manga, Frost is actually like literally the good version of Frieza.
yes, I heard that.
And I always wondered why the hell did they change that? That's the only because I read the manga, the tournament between Universe 7 and 6.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Universe 7 and 6, like between Beerus and Champa. Like I read that that manga like chapter per chapter, and Frost all the time like he was the good version of Frieza, and I was like, oh my god, I cannot wait to see that in the anime. And then in the anime, he's a bad guy, and I'm like, why? Why
You
would
know,
they
I don't
change
know
that?
why. I don't know why they did that.
Yeah.
The anime does stuff like that from the manga, which I don't get. I mean, they changed details from the manga. Now, I'll tell you one detail I wish. And this is another side again, but I just thought of this. One thing I wish they had kept separate from the manga. I wish they hadn't changed Goku's character. I wish they'd kept him more heroic and like not selfish and stuff because I thought his character worked better before.
Uh,
Um,
Sorry.
but
Go ahead.
I mean, I get why they changed it, but I don't know. I think his character worked better before when he was more heroic.
I do agree, but I heard somewhere, and again, it's not official, but I've read somewhere that they got the seal of approval from Toriyama to do that, because and again, I read it somewhere. I don't know if it's official or it's just a rumor, but I read somewhere that Akira Toriyama gave his approval to do that because something like that theme of him like thinking like that he should have done it that way, that kind of like works way more than what he did in the manga, something like that. Like I don't know, like I'm not quite sure, but because at first I thought like maybe they kept it that way because that's the kind of Goku that the fans love, the viewers. But then again, I read somewhere that they got the seal of approval from Toriyama, but again, I don't know if this is like true or not. I'm not sure about that. But that's one of the reasons, for example, why I love One Piece, because every single change they made from the manga, which I will say this, they're not too many. They're not too many changes. The most of the changes they do are basically some like more like really violent moments.
Hmm.
They kind of like tone it down a bit. Like to kind of give you an example. There's like one scene. You have like two pirates. One is Rosho, one is Bellamy, and there's like they're playing cards,
Hmm.
and Rosho like he won the game. And in the now in the anime, when he tries to grab the berries, which is kind of like One Piece money, when he grabbed the money, Bellamy grabbed him by the hand. He kind of like saying like you cheated. But in the manga, when he tried to grab the money, Bellamy fucking stabbed him with a blade through his hand. You know, and basically they changed that because it was like too violent. You know, uh, there's another change they did, which I kind of agree why they did it. Even Ichiro Oda, in the end, he did it as well. But like, do you know a character named Whitebeard?
No, but I've heard of him. I think. Oh,
Is everything okay?
yeah. Let me, okay.
Are you familiar with a character named Whitebeard?
Yeah.
Okay, so do you know how his Jolly Roger looks like?
Yes. I think.
Okay, okay. Now, uh, usually his actual Jolly Roger is like a skull with like the mustache that is a very iconic for him, and like a bone that goes like this and one like this, basically a cross. In the early manga, his Jolly Roger wasn't like that. It was a skull, and it was a swastika.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was a swastika, but not like not like like this. It was like a little like it was like modeled a little bit different, but basically the same lines and everything. And they had to change that because and why they had to change it. Which I will agree why they did that. Some people complained why they did it, but I think it's better they did it.
That makes me think of something else. Remember, and I don't think they changed this. I always thought it looked like it. Maybe it doesn't. But you know what? I always thought. I need to make sure I. Let me look this up really quick before I say it. Oh yeah. Never mind. Never mind. I'm wrong.
Okay.
Um.
now the point I'm trying to say, the point I'm trying to make is that, oh, okay, to give you one more example of what they changed. There was like one scene in Marineford arc, again, One Piece, where basically you have Whitebeard fighting against like an admiral called Akainu, and Akainu used this trick called Hellhound. Now,
Mhm.
in the anime, he punched him in the stomach, but in the manga, he punched him in the face, and he fucking burned half of his face off.
Yes.
You know, and again, they changed that because for them it was too graphic, too violent. You know, but the thing is that, like, the one thing I love is that Toy Animation, they always ask Ichiro Oda, if they can tone it down, if they can add something, they always ask him. And if he sees it's good, they can add it. They have his approval. So I mean, I don't know if it was the same thing with the Toriyama, but I guess maybe it was.
Yeah. Let me think. I'm trying to. Oh. No, I had a thought. I lost it. Also, the. I'm gonna ask you the same question you had. So, who's your favorite villain from each Dragon Ball?
Okay. Let's see. Dragon Ball. I haven't watched that media in a long time. For Dragon Ball, I'll go with. Let me think. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna go with for Dragon Ball. I'm gonna go with King Piccolo.
Ooh, good choice.
Yeah, I'll go with Dragon Ball. I'm going with King Piccolo. Dragon Ball Z. I know a lot of people are gonna shit on me, but I'm with Dragon Ball Z. I'm going with Doctor Gero
Good
because
choice.
I really like. I know people will say, "Oh, he was a weak android." I know, but I'm not just seeing a villain through his powers. I'm seeing him as a character, and what he accomplished, and everything. It made him a very remarkable villain in my eyes. So I'm
Yeah.
going with Doctor Gero. Now with Dragon Ball GT, I'm going with Baby, and Dragon Ball Super, I'm going the opposite of you, which is Goku Black.
Ooh.
You know what my only problem with Goku Black was? My only problem with him was that he was basically a reincarnation, kind of Zamasu. He basically used the Dragon Balls to switch bodies with Goku in like his own alternate timeline, basically. And I was like, and honestly, that's the only thing for me that ruined the character a little bit, because I always wanted to see like a evil Goku, from like an alternate dimension or timeline or something.
Yes, one who didn't get bumped on the head.
Yeah, in a way, yeah. So yeah, but overall, like I said, you said Zamasu. I'm going with Goku Black, which is kind of like the opposite of Zamasu. Even though
Yeah.
they're both the same person.
I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
No, it was oh, I'm
Go
trying to
ahead.
remember the Super. Should we have included the? I guess not. I guess just the anime. I was just thinking if we should have included the manga and the arcs beyond.
Well, that's a good point. That's a good point, because we are going to talk about through everything. Oh, if we're gonna talk about the manga as well, then I'm gonna change Goku Black for Moro.
Okay, yeah.
Then I'm gonna change Goku Black with Moro, because Moro for me was like no pun intended. He was the goat as a villain.
Yes.
Again, no pun intended.
I might actually change Zamasu. No, I'm going to stick with Zamasu.
Yeah. But here's the thing, Moro. I think like he's also like a cosmic being or something. I think like Moro is. I think like in a crazy way, I think Moro would have defeated Zamasu because I think he's way more stronger than him.
Yeah.
Now again, I'm talking about Zamasu before he did the wish. That's what I mean.
Yes. Yeah. Because after he did the wish, I think he probably would have beaten him.
Yeah, I mean he became fucking immortal, basically. You couldn't kill him, you couldn't slice him, anything.
I'm trying to think. Zamasu. Yeah. The Moro is probably. And Moro also is able to absorb power like from planets or something too,
Yep.
wasn't he?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I will say, and also I will say this, like, I mean, yeah. Now let's try to think like who else in Dragon Ball Super. Who else? I mean, think about it, like the only villains that like actual villains that we got was like literally Goku Black, Zamasu, Moro, in some capacity, Granola. All the everything else was like basically tournaments. Let's put it that way.
Yes.
So, and also an anime retelling of Battle of the Gods.
Yes.
Yeah. Also, here's a funny question. I mean, it's obvious. I think like your answer will be obvious. But would you see Lord Beerus as a villain? I know I know a lot of people will say no, because his role after Battle of the Gods.
Probably not. I mean, I could see them kind of circling back to him being a villain at some point. But I don't know. I mean, you know who I could see being a villain more than Beerus?
Who?
I could almost see them making Whis a little more formidable down the road.
Oh, good point. Good point.
'Cause
Because I had one of my crazy theories that all the Whis' kind, like mentors, I always saw them as kind of like one day like being like an ultimate threat to the universe.
Yeah. I kind of think. I mean, I think Beerus could be, but I don't know. I think Whis could really be, or at least, like you said, his kind could be a threat.
Here's one thing for you. Actually who would be what would be bonkers if like the Omni King is a villain.
Ooh, that would be really crazy.
I mean, he is literally the ultimate power of all on all the universes, and yet he has the voice and mind of a child. I remember, like, like the very first. I would say this: his design makes him like very, very creepy. By the way,
yes.
But I love that moment when Omni King first met Goku.
Yes.
I love the moment where Goku like very like cool, relaxed, like doesn't give a shit, like he just simply walks towards him. Like, oh, you want to make another tournament? Yeah, okay, that's cool. Like, and he's like, giving him like a hand, like a handshake, and everyone's like, oh my god, what he's doing? Like, this is gonna be the end and everything. And he just fucking grabs his hand and picks him up like a child. And he's like, it's fine. And then later on, he's like, look, I invite you here so we can play. Again, mind of a child. Although I still think it's a bad idea that he got an alternate timeline copy of him.
Yes. Yeah, that I mean, that's kind of funny, but that probably is bad.
Did you also notice one thing? In every single storyline involving time travel or timelines in general, no matter what you do, there's always like a paradox. Basically, you always like screw up something and creates a new timeline. In Dragon Ball, there is no such thing. No matter what you do, the timeline is the same.
Yeah.
I mean, like there was no big like paradox, like nothing. Like, see, look, you can literally screw up with timeline how many times you want. Nothing's gonna change. Everything's gonna be the same.
Yes. Yeah, they have no. They kind of lessen the stakes a little bit.
A little bit, yeah, a little bit. I mean, I think like when it comes to stakes, the highest stakes I think for me personally, they were like during the Goku Black saga and the Tournament of All Universes. Just because if you lose, the universe will disappear. If you
Yeah.
look at it that way.
I'm trying to remember it. Trying to think of that. Okay, yeah. What was the
What?
the universe? The tournament between Universe 6 and 7. That was Champa and Beerus, right?
Yes.
What did you think of Champa as a villain?
Champa. I don't consider him as a villain. I would say he's more like a fat cat asshole. Like and I love the how they're like the opposite of each other. I love that the how they're opposite to each other, like Beerus and Champa. But Champa, I never actually consider him as a villain. And also like even the tournament, it was basically a tournament between brothers.
Yes.
Kind of like which is kind of like even like in real life, it's like a traditional cycle where like you have two brothers or two sisters or something. Kind of like fighting who's best, basically. And that's basically how I saw the tournament between 7 and 6 in a way.
Yes.
Although his fighters, with exception of Hit and what was the young Saiyan's name?
Oh,
who also became later on Vegeta's apprentice.
I'm trying to remember. I can see him.
Let me check. Yeah. Also, I want to ask you, what did you think of female Broly?
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of people having problems with that, but I don't. And I like and I love that she's the opposite of Broly. Like when it comes to like a true form.
Oh, Kaba.
Yeah, I just noticed Kaba. Yeah, that is his name.
Yeah.
So basically, like his universe had Kaba, Frost, Hit, Winnie the Pooh, and Steampunk Iron Giant.
Yes. Winnie the Pooh. Yes.
Yeah, I mean Winnie the Pooh and Steampunk Iron Giant.
Yeah.
Like I mean, to be fair, I was kind of vouching that Winnie the Pooh will have like a cool like ability or something. By the end, he was mediocre at best.
Yes.
What was the thing? Like he was like sticky or something, or was it bouncy?
I think he was bouncy.
No,
something
like that, or was sticky. I don't remember. Like it was like sticky or bouncy.
I think he was. See, now you say sticky. Now I'm kind of thinking he might have been sticky.
Yeah. Which again, also, yeah, also like, I'm gonna ask you, like, what did you thought of like, because I like a few months ago I rewatched Dragon Ball Z, just Dragon Ball Z, and now when I'm looking at more like, let's just say more clearly now as as I'm older, I was kind of like disappointed the way how they treated Radish, Goku's brother.
Oh yeah.
I was expecting something more of him, but like because at first was like, oh, Goku's brother, that's cool and everything. But now that when I look at it in a different perspective, like I didn't, I don't know, like maybe it was like the beginning of with Akira Toriyama's work and everything. Maybe like even he wasn't sure, because Akira Toriyama in some interviews he did say that he sometimes he wishes to go back and rework something from the past with Dragon Ball. But because I don't know, like Radish, the way how they used him, I don't know, like it was a bit disappointing. How about you?
Yeah, the thing that surprises me is they still haven't gone back and like revisited him at all, and like he never shows up in Hell or like really anywhere. I don't know. They kind of just ignore the fact that Goku had a brother.
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, I think they definitely underutilize him.
yeah, I definitely. I mean, I would have loved to see him, return. Even like if it means like escaping from hell or something. I would I would have loved to see Radish return, like for like a second match, second like a second chance to kind of like a rematch basically between
Yeah.
him and and Goku. That would be kind of kind of cool. Although I personally think that now with everything that Goku has kind of like mastered, I think like Radish would have been killed in a few seconds.
Yes.
So it would be wasteful. Unless Radish escaped from hell and basically trains for years, and then basically returned. I don't know.
Yes.
Also, what did you thought of? What are your opinions on Nappa? The second right hand man of Vegeta.
I don't know. I think again he's somebody who was underused. I mean, I kind of get why they killed him off so early.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think they could bring him back in some capacity, although I don't know. I'd kind of be torn on that because I don't know what he would really add if they brought him back.
Mm.
I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, honestly, and I want to be honest, and I want to be fair here, but like, when I watched it when I was little, and even now, like the Vegeta part of the Saiyan saga, I honestly didn't give a fuck about Nappa. I didn't give a rat's ass about him. I was like more interested in Vegeta than Nappa. The only thing that kind of broke my heart was like the sacrifice the little clown did.
Yes. Yes.
He was like yeah, he was like he was the best friend of the free eye guy. What's his
OTN.
name?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How was the little clown called?
Chao Su.
Thank you. Yes. That's the only thing that broke my heart. Like his sacrifice when he
Yes.
attached himself to Nappa and tried to blow Nappa with him.
Yes.
Yeah. But everything else when it comes to Nappa, I honestly didn't give a shit. Like when Vegeta blew him up, I was like, okay, moving on. Like like nothing happened. Anyhow, like like oh my god, Nappa is gone. Anyhow, where were we? Oh yeah, Vegeta versus Goku, right?
Yes.
Also, we didn't mention them, but I know you love to mention them a lot. The Ginyu Force.
Yes.
You love to mention them a lot.
Yeah, I like them. I like them.
I know you like Captain Ginyu.
Yeah,
I know you like Captain Ginyu.
Yeah, I like Captain Ginyu. I think he's a character that they could bring back, and he could actually be. They could actually make him into more of a menace because he can do that whole body switch thing. So he's somebody I could see them bringing back and making him more into a menace.
I I didn't like how they used him in Dragon Ball Super.
Yeah, no, I thought he was underutilized. I thought they could have done more with him there. I kind of wish they had.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. The Ginyu. The Ginyu Force. Also,
I mean,
the other thing that's funny about the Ginyu Force is,
yeah.
and I didn't realize it back at the time. Of course, at the time I hadn't watched all the Dragon Ball, but the Great Saiyaman, like all his like moves and stuff, his choreography are Ginyu Force moves, pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. Basically, every single form, every single pose was from the Ginyu Force.
Yeah,
basically. I mean, when it comes to the Ginyu Force, like if I remember, Captain Ginyu, Raccoon was the big one,
Raccoon.
right?
Yeah.
Looking guy.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, there was Captain Ginyu, Raccoon, then there was Guldo, the small one with 4 eyes.
Yeah, the time freeze guy. Yeah.
Yes.
Jace. The one with like the red. The red one with the white hair.
Okay, that's what was his name?
Jace.
And
then I think
was it
Bruter?
Yeah,
blue one.
He was like a speed, right?
Yes.
He was like very fast.
Yes, yeah.
Let me check. Oh my god.
Is that all?
I mean, just let me check to see. Ginyu Force. I mean, to be fair, like their poses are kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
Let's put it. Okay, they're kind of ridiculous, but I get it. You can definitely feel it's Akira Toriyama's touch. When it does things like that. Let me see. JC Berter.
Yes.
Berter is the blue one. Yeah. But honestly, out of all of them, I kind of found cute Guldo. I kind of find him cute.
He didn't last long though. Vegeta wasted him pretty quick.
Yeah, I know. He cut off his head, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I know. He didn't last long. I mean, wasn't his like time stopping thing when he's like taking a breath or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know there was a moment where he was like trying to stop time, but he couldn't last long. Like his breath.
Yeah,
he couldn't last long. Yeah. What was Jay-Z's power?
Let me look and see. I'm looking to see.
Because I know Captain Ginyu had the switching thing. Berter has the speed. Raccoon was the strength. Guldo was the time thing. And Jay-Z was what?
Oh, I guess he was fast too, because I think he and Berter were like synchronized with each other.
Yeah, but if I remember correctly, like not even like Jay-Z, like even he didn't last long.
Yeah, no. Once Vegeta, because I'm trying to remember how Vegeta got strong. Oh, because Vegeta got the Sensu Bean. Once he got the Sensu Bean, I think he took out Chase. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I just want to say, speaking of, sorry.
That's right. Okay, I was trying to remember that.
What did you say? So, I'm sorry.
I couldn't remember how. Okay, that's right. Okay.
Okay. Now I was only also trying to say that the other thing that now speaking of like Frieza's forces, Zarbon and Dodoria.
Yes.
I mean, both of them were pretty cool. Ruthless, like solid gold, ruthless. But even like just like the Ginyu Force, like they, for me personally, they didn't make such a big impression. I mean, they were like typical, like muscle like henchmen of Frieza, basically.
Yes.
Mm. Yeah, but although we talked about that before, but like the one that really disappointed me was King Cold.
Yes.
Because of being like Frieza's father, you will think like oh my god, he's like way more stronger than he was.
Yes.
But nope, he was a fucking pussy.
Yes.
Oh my,
He
yeah.
was also
I
he was
mean the
also by
sneaky
Lord,
what?
he was also voiced by Lord Beerus, by the same actor who does Lord Beerus in the English anime.
Yeah, I've seen that in the behind the voice actors website. I've seen that. But still, like, I always like when you have like powerful villains and you have like their family, usually like they're like much more stronger than the children.
Yeah.
But again, as we said with King Cold, it was the opposite. He was a fucking like he was a fucking weak cunt. Like
Yeah.
like he was defeated in a matter of minutes. Like first the old school like stupid sneaky thing that he did. Like, can I see your sword? Oh, it's really good. Yeah, really well crafted. Hey, tried to slice him, but Trunks, nope. And then he fucking like blast him through the stomach, and basically like, he was begging for mercy, saying, "I'll give you a planet. I'll give you 2 planets if you spare me." Blah, blah, blah. And
Yeah.
Trunks is like, basically, fuck off. I mean, that was so pathetic. And then I always had the question: if King Cold was like that, then how was his mother? If he actually even had a mother?
That's a good question.
Yeah, I mean, Chilled, who was like Frieza's ancestor, the Bardock special.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Chilled was actually a way more better fighter than King Cold.
Yeah, King Cold was what's the word? I guess I guess underused or just not done like well.
Yeah, but even like one time, Akira Toriyama, again, what I heard from like the interviews, people are saying that Akira Toriyama mentioned one time that why he made King Cold so weak is actually he did that on purpose to kind of like show how Frieza's power really is. Because usually you'll think like the parents are stronger, but like Akira Toriyama's way, he made him weaker because he wanted to show, like I said, he wanted to show how powerful actually Frieza is, in comparison to his own father. So he did that on purpose. But again, if Akira Toriyama was still alive, I would literally learn Japanese and tell him that what you did with King Cold was a big mistake.
Yes.
Oh god. Yeah. Also, you mentioned Cooler.
Yes.
Before, Cooler, just like Frieza. I mean, Cooler also was a very cool villain. No pun intended.
Yeah, I liked Metal Cooler better than the original Cooler though.
Here, honestly, I'm on the opposite side. I didn't like him as Meta. Was it Meta Cooler or Mech Cooler?
Meta Cooler, I think.
Yeah, I didn't like that because having all those cybernetic clones of him and everything, and basically everyone was created through that little piece of like Cooler's head that survived and everything. I don't know. It kind of lost a little bit of points. What made Cooler a cool villain for me personally. Yeah. I mean, I get it. What?
That's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, like for me, I mean, I get it. Why you think it would be cool, but for me personally, I mean, that is one of the things I never liked when it comes to villains. Like, when they, like the host is like destroyed, and then basically later on, what you see are clones of this, like same villain. That's one of the villain plots that I was never like a big fan of.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I mean. Actually, when it comes to before we continue, I want to ask you a question. Like now, I know this will be maybe a difficult one, but which of the Dragon Ball villains, from everywhere from all the medias. Which Dragon Ball villain for you made a big impact?
Hmm.
Remember, from all the medias.
Hmm.
I don't mean like one by one. I mean like one from all of them.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay, so I have. I hope this answer is good,
Okay.
but
I,
just
I just I just hope it's not the LA abomination.
just to be safe though, I'm gonna. In case this answer's off at all, I'm just gonna throw an answer out that's gonna distract you though, just to make sure that my choice is Mephisto.
Now I wish I have a rope right here so I can hang myself.
Uh,
Okay, now that you throw the punchline
yeah,
aside, what's the choice?
I'm going with Vegeta.
Oh,
And I'll tell you why.
okay.
Because what I like about Vegeta as a villain is I like his redemption story. I like how they show him as a villain and they show him like progressing as a villain, like to anti-hero and like to Goku's ally. I mean, I like that progression. I like how it kind of shows that like they can start off they can start off bad, but they can then like sort of be redeemed. I don't know. I kind of like that.
Yeah, interesting. Interesting point. Yeah. Okay, fair
I'm
enough.
I'm not sure if I don't think Toriyama when he first made Vegeta and like the first like couple sagas he was in, I don't know how far he originally planned to go with Vegeta and progressing him. Um, but I don't know. I like that progression.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, again, I have to say, like, very good points, very interesting choice. Yeah. Uh, Now to go back to me, for me, the villain that made the biggest impact on me, I have to go back all the way to elementary days, to my days of my elementary school, when I started watching Dragon Ball. Uh, I'm gonna go with Majin Buu.
Ooh, good choice.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Majin Buu because
Wait, no, which
uh,
Majin Buu?
the fat one.
The fat one. Okay.
No, that's why I didn't say Kid Buu, Super Buu, or things like that. That's why I say Majin Buu.
Okay.
Which of course, when I say Majin Buu, I always mean the fat one
Okay.
because that version of Majin Buu made a really big impact on me. Not just simply as a character, the way how Akira Toriyama created him and everything. And also like the idea of like being this like indestructible. Well, I just put this pink blob basically, or as I like to say, pink pudding. But basically, and also his love for candy, but like also, made a big impact on me most of all because uh, Majin Buu, just like other characters, I'm kind of going away from Dragon Ball. Kind of like the Joker,
Mhm.
Gecko Moria, and all the other like this type of villains. It made me fall in love with these types of villains who are like all smiley, creepy, bonkers, jester like and everything. No, I mean, again, his character arc, again, the fat one, his character arc is
Yeah.
also interesting in the way how Kira Toriyama progressed him, like chapter per chapter or episode per episode in this case. But as a category of villains, as a type of villains, on that on that side, made a big impact on me.
Yeah, I liked him. I thought he was a good. That's a good choice.
Yeah, I mean, I know. Some people might think like, oh, okay, great, he's gonna say Doctor Giro again. I could have said it, but for me personally, is it's Majin Buu, the fat one. I mean, his relationship with Mr. Satan is like one of the best parts of Dragon Ball Z
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah, I really like that too. That was a good. I liked how they did. It kind of made sense, um, and it kind of added like some comic relief. Plus, I kind of think they needed to do something with Mister Satan because I think they trashed him in the Cell games. Um,
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean, I get why. I mean, I think it was a lot more comic relief there, but I think um, they really trashed him in the Cell games, and they.
Mm,
I kind of feel like they had to go back and do something more with his character. Um,
I agree.
and I also kind of like how his character they kind of even softened him and like made him more likable in Dragon Ball Super as well. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I think they needed. I mean, I think they needed to do that. Um, and he's a character. I hope if they ever try Dragon Ball live action again, he's somebody I want to be. I want them to put in it.
You talk about Majin Buu or Mr. Satan?
Both.
Both. Well, do you think like here's the question I have for you: if they try live action, which I think they will, which I okay, I'm gonna be cruel right now, but now that Akira Toriyama is gone, maybe there is a chance they could actually try it again when it
Yeah.
comes to live action. But here's the thing: do you think Majin Buu can be done, like the fat one, the Kid Buu, and everything? Do you think that Majin Buu in general could be done, with like prosthetics, like without
Prosthetics.
CGI whatsoever?
Well, see, that's a. I think the Super Boo could be. Um, I think Kid Boo they probably could do with prosthetics. Um, I think Fat Boo they'd have to CGI.
I think like
Um,
I mean you can do. I think like they can do a fat suit or something.
I mean, I guess they could do Fat Boo by prosthetics. I don't know. That's a good question. The thing that I wonder is though, aside from that, because I saw, I think it was Reddit or somewhere I was reading it, um, where they were talking about the issue with doing doing live action Dragon Ball movies is how do you split them up? Because like
Yeah,
each saga had like little like mini sagas in it, or like you had like in the Saiyan saga, you had Goku on Snake White, Goku training with King Kai, Gohan training with Piccolo, and then you had the fight with the Saiyans.
yeah.
So if you're gonna put all the mini sagas in the whole movie, if you're gonna do like each movie's a saga, the movie's gonna be like 2 or 3 hours long, maybe longer.
Actually, what actually, what I think the best thing they could actually do.
Hmm.
I think they should follow up the Avatar, The Last Airbender, and One Piece thing. Basically, do a live action TV series.
Yeah, see, I think if they're gonna do it again, if they're gonna try it again, that would probably be the way to go.
Because I think like again, I'm gonna give One Piece as an example again, because in 8 episodes they like they in the first season they did like in 8 episodes they did Romance Dawn arc,
Hmm.
Orange Town, Syrup
Hmm.
Village,
Hmm.
Baratie, and Arlong Park arcs.
Hmm.
5 arcs in 8 episodes. And again, there are a lot of things they have taken out, or some characters they made them like cameo roles instead of like major roles. But the main thing is they made it all well connected.
Yes.
Like because the thing is like, for example, how One Piece does is like each arc is its own story basically. Yes, sure, they do have some connectivity with like the main overall story of the series, but they all like in a way self-contained, some of them more, some of them less. But when it comes to Dragon Ball, if you look at it, every single saga is self-contained.
Yeah.
So the best thing I think they could do is basically, again, through the One Piece footsteps, they could basically do maybe uh, the first saga or first two sagas. It depends on
Yeah.
like how they're gonna do it. But like I think like I think that they could do it like live action. But again, it's a TV series. But like instead of like making it all these sagas independent. Basically do it like in a way that it's all connected, all like kind of floating naturally without like forcing or pushing
Mhm.
things and everything. Because like when you're doing a thing like that, one of the things that you have to realize especially when it comes to live action, for example, some of the things in anime work, some of them in live action won't work.
Yeah.
Like to give you, I'm sorry if I'm bringing One Piece again, but gonna give you an example. One of the things that in live action they're gonna definitely tone down is, do you know the character Sanji, the cook,
Yes. Yeah.
the blonde guy,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, who is a very like ladies man. Okay, so in the anime, which is a very traditional thing, you know, you have characters that are obsessed with women,
Hmm.
beauties and everything, with the blood coming out of your nose and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, basically the kinky side. Now
Yeah.
in live action, those kind of things they don't quite work. You know, so and so basically what they had to do, they're gonna have to tone it down. So even like when it comes to like
Roshi.
uh Roshi, there's a lot of stuff that they're gonna definitely gonna
Yes.
tone it down. And
Yes.
honestly, I don't mind if they made Roshi less comical but more like a little bit serious,
Yeah. Yeah. No.
and wiser. I don't
I
mind that.
I think if they do another live action, the thing they need to do is they need to try to stick as closely as they can to the story, and they need to not omit any characters.
Yeah, but you have to realize that some of the things that appeared in the sagas, you have to realize that with live action, some of them things they had to take it out.
Well, that's
You
true,
know,
but I
yeah,
mean, like, I think they shouldn't like. I don't think they should because that was the problem with Evolution, which was just the greatest movie of all time. I think we know. Um, I don't think we've ever seen anything better than that movie. But ah, nobody ever said that, and nobody ever will say that ever. That movie was complete garbage. But but
that's the smartest things you ever said.
yeah. But that said, um, the why I think that didn't work was I think they omitted too many characters, and I think they changed too much of the story. Um,
Mm,
and I think that was the main reason it didn't work. And I think if they hadn't made all the changes they did, and if they'd kept the characters in, like the effects were terrible in that movie, but I'd rather have a Dragon Ball anime that like sticks or a Dragon Ball live action series that sticks closer to the story. I mean, if it changes like a thing or two here or there, I'm fine, but I'd rather it stick closely to the story and like keep the characters closer to the anime. And like if it has crappy effects, I mean, I don't care about the effects. If it follows the story and it like has the characters well cast, I can
mm.
overlook the effects.
I mean, the crazy, now when it comes to Dragon Ball, the one thing for certain, like there's all sorts of characters that you can literally cast anyone, white, Asian, black, Latino, Indian, like whatever you want. Like there's all sorts of characters, and even though the majority of them are in makeup, so basically you can cast literally anyone you want.
Mhm.
uh you know like you can even cast, I mean, I'm not kidding, you can cast Goku like a normal American actor,
Yeah.
and no, because as long as you do the character justice, when it comes to the type of casting, I don't think it will matter,
Well,
personally, for me.
and like the thing with like say Krillin, for example, who they omitted from Evolution for reasons I still don't understand.
Me neither.
Um, I remember when they dropped the cast for that, and I saw they were leaving Krillin out. I was like, what? But
I think like one of the reasons why is again, those I think again those are just some rumors I heard, is that because like Krillin in anime, like in manga, like if you look at like with other characters, he's always small. So
see,
I think like that was the problem. That the because he was small. You know,
but I
you
mean,
kind of get the idea.
with Krillin, I mean, they could cast anybody. Um,
I mean, it
although,
doesn't have to be small,
yeah,
honestly.
it just has to be the character. Like it just has to fit the this is going to be an odd comparison, but I'm going to make it
Yeah.
anyway. It's kind of like whenever you adapt. Did you ever watch Elementary? That Sherlock Holmes
Mm,
show with Johnny Lee Miller and Lucy Liu.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's
I
kind of
did.
like adapting Sherlock Holmes. You need a Holmes and you need a Watson, but they don't necessarily need to be like the Holmes and Watson that you see in all the media or read about in
No,
the books.
no,
Like, you can
exactly,
change the characters, or like even in the new Batman show where they changed the Penguin. I mean, it doesn't necessarily need to
exactly.
be, yeah, it doesn't necessarily need to be, or take Wolverine, for example. How, I mean, Hugh Jackman is a good deal taller than a lot of people thought he should be as Wolverine. So, I mean, the point I'm making is you can, you the character doesn't necessarily have to resemble how they look in the comics or in the TV show, as long as they have the same, like, traits, and as long as, like, they serve the same purpose of the character, it I mean, that's what really is, I think, important.
Exactly. I mean, like, here's the thing. As I said it previously. It doesn't matter who you're casting as long as you're doing the character justice.
Yeah,
None of the other things matter. Even like when it comes to speaking of Krillin, I mean, like they did, as the rumors I've heard, if they actually true, it's a very stupid reason because he was small, unlike all
yeah,
the others. And I'm like, dude, you can cast someone to play Krillin normal size.
yeah,
It doesn't have to be small. Like it doesn't matter. Okay, you have to make him bold, but as long as you're doing the character justice, like as long as you're portraying him the way he is in
yeah,
the manga and anime, then there's no problem.
and you
There's
don't necessarily
no
you wouldn't necessarily have to make Krillin bald anymore either, because I mean, he has hair, like, off and on in so many different, like, sagas and stuff in the
That's true.
franchise
That is true.
that you could get
That is
away with
true.
just having him with hair.
Yeah, okay, that is true. That is true. There are sagas where he's bald, and there are sagas where he has hair.
Yeah.
I do agree on that.
So I think you
I
could
do
get
agree
away
on that. That is
I think
true.
you could get away if you could get, I mean, I think you'd have to have a little his hair, if you were gonna get do him with hair, would have to be a little bit longer, but, I mean, you could get away with doing him with hair, though.
Yeah, I do agree. I do agree. But again, like again, if you have to do Dragon Ball live action again for the type of storyline that Dragon Ball possesses, I would say first and foremost they have to start from the beginning, like
Yeah,
when Goku was a child,
yeah,
unless the showrunners wishes to do like Dragon Ball Z, for example.
yeah,
Like if they chose to go with Dragon Ball Z, okay, that's fine. It's okay. But again, the best thing to do is I know you have to keep like the fans satisfied and everything. I get it, but also you have to make it in a way that is also adaptable. That is also like acceptable for like normal viewers who never seen Dragon Ball before.
well, and
And the best way.
the other thing is, and if they could do this now, doing this would m require a little bit of arrogance on their part, because they would have to assume
Mm,
that it doesn't get canceled and it lasts for a couple seasons. It'd be cool if they could get a if they ever
yeah,
do live action again, if they could get a child actor for Gohan that, like, could grow up through the sagas, like, sorta like how Gohan did. It'd be cool if they could actually get that and, like, show that progression more.
so you mean like so that way they can do the future.
Sort of,
Oh, okay,
because they could do, like,
I get you.
because they could run it from, like, the Saiyan saga all the way through the Cell saga, and if they could get a child actor in the right age range, I don't know, I think that'd be cool.
Yeah, but also I just want to say this. Uh most Now again, speaking of villains, most of the villains for Dragon Ball live action, like I'm telling you, most of the Dragon Ball villains you can easily do with makeup and prosthetics.
Yeah,
I don't think you need CGI. Even with Majin Buu, I don't think you need CGI. I don't think you need CGI with Cell or Frieza or even Dodoria or Zarbon or the androids. I don't think you don't need CGI on them at all. You can. I mean, especially like, the androids are easy.
yeah, the androids,
Normal actors,
those would be the easiest.
yeah, the normal actors, wigs, costumes, and
Mhm.
everything. You're done. You're done. Maybe maybe the only one who's a little bit complicated is Android 19.
Yeah,
Like fat and white white skin and everything. Like maybe that, but again, you can do that with makeup. There's no problem. There's no problem. Although for Android 19, I would suggest they actually cast like an Asian actor
Yeah.
to play him. I mean, that's my choice. Now for 18 and 17, I'm okay with whatever they choose. Honestly.
Oh, yeah, I think you're right. I think a lot of the villains could be done with prosthetics and with makeup.
Yep.
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to picture the villains in Bobbity. I don't know about Bobbity. You might have to CGI. Deborah, because Bobbity is like really, really, really small.
Yeah.
I think,
BBD and Bobbity.
I think you'd have to keep Bobbity small. I don't think you could, like, because I think his size kind of like dictates his personality in that case.
Yeah.
So I think you'd probably have to do you'd have to do CGI. Deborah, you could do prosthetics.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
I think,
but
Bobbity, I think you could do.
Here's I'm sorry, what did you say?
Yeah, I think aside from Bobbity, you could do them all like by prosthetics.
But here also, I have one funny villain question. Which one do you prefer, BBD or Bobbity?
Bobbity.
I'm going with BBD. I know he had a very, very small amount of screen time, and mostly was flashbacks. But actually, all of them were flashbacks. Sorry, but there's something about his design that actually made him more cooler than Bobbity.
Yeah, I can kind of see that.
And I think and personally for me, I think like he was actually more wiser and smarter than Bobbity.
Now, I will say, since we were talking about evolution, I will say the only actor in that movie that I thought actually did the best they could with their part and actually did a decent portrayal. It still deviated a lot, but Lord Piccolo.
Yeah, I do agree. Okay,
I mean,
even though
I'm not saying he was like great and like he was that he was faithful to the anime or anything, but I think he was. If they had actually had a good director and the rest of the cast had worked, I think that character probably would have worked a lot better.
Yeah.
And I think that actor James Marsters did the most he could with that role. So I mean, I don't know. I kind of liked him as a villain.
Yeah, but also like I just want to say this: the way how they portrayed Chi-Chi,
yeah,
in Evolution, I was like, wow. Like first and foremost, like she was never that I just say energetic and also kinky, because in the manga.
The issue I have is I heard somebody say, and I agree with it, is that Justin Chatwin and Jamie Chung as Chi-Chi and Goku, they were miscast. They should have been Gohan and Videl.
Yeah.
Because had they been Gohan and Videl,
that would have been much better.
That would have made a lot more sense.
Yeah. But here's the thing. When Piccolo and Goku first met, and I'm talking about the anime now and manga, not the abomination. Like when they first met, were they rivals, or like they got close immediately?
You mean Piccolo Jr., right?
Yeah, Piccolo Jr., not King Piccolo. Piccolo Jr.
Yeah, they were rivals at first. Because Piccolo Jr.'s mission was to kill Goku to avenge his dad.
Yeah. Oh
and
my
that
god!
Actually made me think of something. Do you think they should bring back King Piccolo and have him fight his son Piccolo, and then have them actually merge and finally become the nameless Namekian?
Oh, they should have that. The only way to do that is if they invent some like Namekian mumbo jumbo to make him come back or something.
Because I'd kind of like to see that, because Piccolo. That I heard somebody say that like the only reason Piccolo isn't the nameless Namekian yet is because he's a fusion of Piccolo Jr. and Kami, And for him to actually
Mm.
truly be the nameless Namekian, he'd need to have his dad in there.
Yeah, yeah. Also, I want to ask you this. Uh, oh, I always forget his name. The little like black character who was like with Piccolo.
Oh, Mr. Popo.
Yeah. Here's a
Yes.
question I have for you. Do you think they would have introduced him in live action?
Probably not. I don't think they would now, for sure.
Uh, I don't think they would.
I
I
think it
don't
would be
think they would.
very hard. I think it would be very hard for them to do it. I mean, unless they just said, "Screw it, we don't care what people think."
I
Um,
mean, look, if they do that, I would applaud them because they would have cojones, like big
you know,
balls to do that.
I mean, I personally think if they want to get it right and they want to get like it accurate, I think they should have him in there. But do I think they'll actually go for it?
I
Probably not.
don't. No, I don't think so too. I don't think
I'll be
Popo. I don't
surprised.
think. I mean, I would be surprised they do. I would be really surprised if they do. If they ever
Um,
decide to do a Dragon Ball live action, but I don't think that they.
well,
I think he's one of those characters. I think they would remove.
well, in the Funimation dub on Kids WB, whenever they did Dragon Ball Z Kai, they made him blue,
Yeah, I
wh-
remember that.
which I thought was really really stupid.
I know.
I mean, I read the reason and I was like, I don't know anybody who was actually bothered by how he looked in the first place.
Yeah,
Like,
but I told you.
and
You
then
remember
making
what I
him.
told you before? Some of the things in anime work. Some of them in
Yeah,
live
that's
action
true.
wouldn't work.
But and the problem with Popo is, I mean, they would have to keep him accurate from the anime because if they made if they changed his race, people would notice that more than if they just kept him how he is.
Oh yeah, definitely,
Like
definitely.
like that's a character that like they either have to omit or they have to go full on with. And I
I
personally
mean,
I think they should go full on with him, but I doubt they will.
I want to ask you another like challenging question. If someone will give you the rights to to do a Dragon Ball anime movie, to direct it and write the script, basically.
Live action or animated?
Anime. I said anime.
Okay, animated.
Okay. If they give you the right to do a Dragon Ball anime movie, to write the script again and direct, what type of villain would you create for your story?
I'm gonna take an answer. I'm gonna take an answer you gave earlier. I would do it in an alternate universe where Goku didn't get hit on the head.
Wow, so you would create an
So
alternate timeline.
I'd make Goku I would switch Goku and Vegeta.
So basically, you will do a what if story.
Yeah, I'd make Goku the main villain, and like I'd make Vegeta kind of like the Earth's protector.
Okay, but if they told you no, you can't do a what if thing.
Hmm.
If you have
Okay.
to stick to canon, then what would you do then?
Black Frieza.
Black Frieza.
Yeah,
Okay, so you would use Frieza again
I'd use
as
Frieza
a
again.
yeah, but but
Well, actually,
yeah, but the thing is, if you listen to my question, I told you that you had to. They I told you that they told you that you have to create your own villain.
okay.
That's why I said, which type of villain would you create for your own story?
Okay.
I told you it's tricky.
Let me think. Maybe. Hmm. Hmm. Probably wouldn't count as creating my own villain, but it's just something I thought of. You know what I might do?
Go ahead.
I might take a page out of, and you're gonna, you might want to get that rope back out. Because I might take a page out of Evolution's playbook and team up a rogue Saiyan with like a rogue Namekian.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know how that would work, or if that would work.
Fair enough.
I'm trying to think. would also kind of be cool. I don't know if he'd be a villain or not. It would also be kind of cool if, and this wouldn't be something I do, but this would be something I hope they do, is if they introduce the original creator of the Dragon Balls, the original Namekian who created the Dragon Balls.
Wait, wasn't the fat one who did it?
No, it was it was maybe it was the fat one, but yeah, okay, I'm confused. I'm confused. Yeah, it was the guy. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, because I do remember that the big fat one was the one who did it.
It would be cool if they introduced the first legendary Super Saiyan. Like, aside from Broly, like, introduce the first legendary Super Saiyan.
Okay, so basically, the threat would have been like this ancient legendary Super Saiyan.
Yeah.
Who somehow. Okay. For me personally, if I have to create a story, I actually had a few ideas. Like one of the ideas I had was basically the main villain would have been a rogue god of destruction, basically,
Ooh.
who took a rogue god of destruction that was basically the holder of the title before Beerus. Because for me personally, I always saw God of Destruction as kind of like a title.
Yes.
So basically, this being who was called the God of Destruction before Beerus, he basically in my storyline, like I would put it, like he was like the Omni King, basically trapped him in an alternate timeline, basically where he couldn't escape, basically. So so that would be my story, kind of like this rogue god of destruction who kind of escaped the alternate timeline, and basically he went on a crusade to basically wipe out like all to basically wipe out like so far like I'm imagine to kind of like he escaped from his prison and he went on a crusade to kind of like wipe out all of the gods of destruction.
Yes.
Like to wipe them out, all of them, like one by one in each universe.
That wouldn't be. I like that idea.
Yeah, and basically the main part of the story is that in this version, like in this story, like Beerus, and I will also bring back all the gods of destruction in this story as well. But basically, the main storyline would have been like Champa came to Beerus to like begging him to help him because because someone is after his ass, and basically Beerus will ask Goku, Vegeta, and other I also had like Piccolo and future Trunks also in my story would have been involved, kind of like team all of them basically teaming up to go up against this rogue god of destruction. But in this case, in my story, I would have made this villain like very, very powerful. Like Goku would have to go like to Ultra Instinct to defeat him.
Yes.
But even then, I would have made the final battle like Goku like barely defeated him.
Yes.
Like it took a lot out of him.
Yes.
Yeah, because I kind of imagine one of the kind of like scenes where you see like this god of destruction, this rogue one, and basically you see like other gods of destruction on the floor like KO, like he destroyed him.
Yes.
Yeah. And I even imagine to kind of like have a scene where basically he stood up to the Omni King.
Ooh.
Yeah, but like basically like everyone is kind of like afraid of him, but he's like stone cold. He's not afraid of him anymore. Because like all this time. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I like your idea. That's a good idea.
Yeah, because all this time, in my idea, the reason how he got stronger is because like all this time that when he was in the alternate timeline, trying to find a way to escape, basically, he basically trained and got stronger and stronger, basically, and also to kind of explain how he escaped from this alternate timeline, it kind of connects to Dragon Ball Super. Basically, he escaped from the timeline because of two Omni Kings. Because in my story, that kind of broke the law of time travel and like timeline in general.
Oh, I
so
like
kind of
that.
like putting those two, yeah. So kind of like putting those two together. That's basically kind of like a rule in the timeline basically was broken, and that's basically what made him to give him to kind of like gave him an advantage to escape.
I like that.
Yeah, that was like one of my ideas. The other ideas I had was very similar to the one like you did, like ancient like Saiyan, storyline. Although mine was like the very first Saiyan, my idea. Yours were like legendary Super Saiyan, so it's kind of like almost similar. And then the third idea I had was what was it? Oh yeah, that one is a little bit stupid, but then one idea I had was where a main villain would have been a galactic crew of pirates, basically.
Ooh, I like that
Yeah,
too.
yeah, but the difference is that because we had pirates in Dragon Ball before, but this one's they would have been aliens, of course, but like they would have been like dressed up more a little bit more like pirates. To kind of give you an example, Treasure Planet type of design.
Okay, yeah, I can picture that.
Yeah, and they're basically like all of them are like the worst from the worst. Like every single one of them are like tough fighters, very powerful, skilled in combat, and all of that. And basically, the story would have been very simple. All in my story, it would have actually involved more Piccolo, Gohan, and Trunks, actually, than Goku or Vegeta. In that storyline, because when I had ideas for this storyline, the actually inspiration gave me a superhero movie.
Ooh,
That was my inspiration for this pirate storyline.
I like that.
Yeah, so basically those are like my always those kind of were my main three ideas I had, basically.
I like the first one, the one with the rogue god of destruction. I like that one the best. That one's really cool.
Yeah, but basically, I'm still kind of like finding ideas what his goal is. But basically, he wants to destroy all the gods of destruction, because in the kind of like backstory I created for him, they all turned against him because he kind of like like I said, he went rogue, kind of like taking matters in his own hands. But also one of the things that I kind of like wanted to do is, now that could be a little bit controversial, because in my story, I would have created another version of the Dragon Balls. Yeah, another version of the Dragon Balls. You know how we had like blue ones, normal ones, and gigantic ones. Yeah. So basically, I would have created another version of the Dragon Balls where basically whoever possesses them gives him the power of like time, space, and matter.
Yes.
In which one he can rebuild the universe to his own liking.
Yes.
So it's kind of like yeah. Again, I mean, when I was doing that, I was kind of like I think I would have made too much like different versions of the Dragon Balls, but this one's like basically they're kind of like a dogma Dragon Ball, basically.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, where like I said, whoever possesses them has the power over like space, time, and matter. Like you can basically rebuild the universe, like basically like it's made of clay, basically.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah, and the key to finding them, which which one was the reason why I mentioned the Omni King would have been in my story, because the only person who had know the location is the Omni King to those Dragon Balls. So that will also involve him in the story. But again, those are just ideas. Like I didn't write anything. Those are just ideas I had.
I like those.
Yeah, but I still think like, but I always think like, if Akira Toriyama would have been alive, would he actually approve of these storylines I had?
I
That's the
think so.
question.
I think probably the Rogue God of Destruction he probably would. For
You
sure.
think?
Yeah.
Mm. Because the ones that you had, those ideas, I think like I think like those ones, I think he would definitely approve. I think personally. Yeah.
Okay, you go.
No, I said I said like what I said. So basically, I kind of finished my subject. So I thought like you were gonna ask me something.
I'm trying to think. I'm drawing a blank. Oh, I'm drawing a blank. I had something. I lost it. Oh, well.
I mean, look, we're at it 2 hours and 20 minutes. So so of course maybe we have like down near the finish line, like when it comes to what we can talk about.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else.
It looks like we are at the end of our ammunition. But here's the crazy thought. Speaking of like, I know that superhero movie did it before me, but like I always had an idea to again bring back the Red Ribbon Army.
Yes.
I know there are that type of villains that a lot of people don't care, basically.
Yes.
But but in my version, kind of like kind of also like borrowing a little bit of the superhero storyline, I would have done it differently. Like
Yeah.
again, it has nothing to do with like Mega Cell or whatever it was called, or Gamma 1, Gamma 2. Like it has nothing to do with them. It's nothing to do with them. Like but I definitely would have done it differently.
Yes.
Definitely. Like for example, I mean, one of the crazy ideas I had when I watched the movie, one of the crazy ideas I had, like basically that the main villain would have been like basically the brother of Android 16 and the second son of Dr. Giro, basically.
Okay, I can see that. That would be good.
Yeah, and instead of being an android, in my version, instead of being an android, he would have been a cyborg, like half human, half machine.
Yeah, I can
because
see that.
yeah, because he kind of because like then I had like this one idea that the reason why he prefers cyborg because he thought the cyborgs are like the future, not the androids. Kind of like trying to fix the mistakes that his father did, before him, or like many different others. Like like those are like some like little teeny tiny ideas I had. So far, as you said, the best one I had was the God of Destruction one.
Yeah. I like the God of Destruction the best.
Yeah, but I will say this: creating the design, ooh, that's difficult. That is difficult.
Yes.
That is difficult because I don't know myself because I don't know myself like how would I design him, because first and foremost I think like in my version, I think he would have been. I think in my version, I think he would have looked like something between a demon and. Oh yeah, I remember now. Yeah, I always kind of imagine him to be like half demon, half troll.
I can see that.
Yeah, that would have been my design of the rogue God of Destruction. Half demon, half troll.
I can see
something
that.
like that. Yeah. And he would have been like big, like and his size, I think he would have been something like to kind of get you a picture. He would have been big, like as Zarbon, for example.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah. So, do you have anything more to say?
I don't think so.
I think like what I think like with we are like 2 hours and 24 minutes. I think we have lost the ammunition. I think we came to the end, because I'm thinking like what we could talk about, because like we talked a lot, and surprisingly we stick to the villain subject
Yeah,
most of the time.
we did a pretty good job
Surprisingly,
with that.
yeah, we did. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, one more question. Okay, and I think that's my last one. That's like my ace in the hole. Uh, of all the members of the Red Ribbon Army, who is your favorite?
Hmm. General Blue, I think.
Really?
Hmm.
You still going with him?
Yep.
Hmm.
How about
Well,
you?
for me, it's easy. Dr. Giro. I mean, I told you, I'm a sucker for mad scientists. I'm a sucker for them. And I will tell you, when I was a kid, I never understood what the hell Dr. Giro wanted to get his revenge on Goku. When I was little, I never understood why. But then, as
Hmm.
I rewatched the Red Ribbon saga, I was like, okay, I get it now. Why he wants revenge, because he destroyed this organization, which I still think Dr. Giro secretly he was the leader, not Commander Red. I
Okay,
still think. I mean, honestly, I could see Dr. Giro being the main commander, not Red. I think like my theory is Commander Red was just his kind of like proxy, you know, kind of
yeah,
like Dr. Giro working in the shadows, and Commander Red is basically his proxy, like he's the face of leadership on the field, basically.
yeah.
That's
I
my
can,
theory.
yeah, that's a good theory. I think Doctor Zero probably is the brains behind it all.
Yeah, so I kind of get the idea why he wants revenge, because like Goku destroyed the entire Red Ribbon Army organization, so I get it, because the thing is, like, when it comes to revenge, you have to be very specific, like why he wants to do it, and because again, he had no. If you watch the Android saga, you think like he had no reason to get even with Goku, because what the hell he did to him in the past. But when you see Dragon Ball, the Red Ribbon saga, Red Ribbon Army saga again, you kind of realize that why he wanted, and again, even back then, why does he want to get revenge on someone because he destroyed this organization? Why? And then like when you put two and two together, it will make more sense that if he was secretly the leader, because because I know Dr. Giro when it comes to ranks, he was kind of like the head of the scientific department, but again, I'm still thinking he was the brain behind everything.
Well, he definitely had the brain.
That's for sure. That's for sure. Yeah. When you take off his hat, that's for sure. I mean, everyone has a cybernetic brain, but he had a definitely human one. That's for sure. Okay, so I think we came to the end, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think we reached the end of this amazing, like almost 2.5 hours discussion. Yeah. Oh my god! Like, I mean, seriously, talking with you about Dragon Ball is like, it's like literally like we could be at it for hours, and hours. Oh my god! Yeah. Okay. As we both agreed, everyone, all my followers of darkness out there, we have come to an end to this another Shadow Council episode. You guys, you all know the drill. Thank you very much. If you enjoyed this 2.5 hours long conversation, maybe if you did, great. If you don't, well, we all have different tastes. But anyway, as I said, here comes the end to another Shadow Council episode. You know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe, and so on and so forth. Like always, Lord of Shadows signing off. Okay, it looks like that's signing off for him as well. And see you soon for another Shadow Council episode. Until then, see ya.